Asia is the largest continent on Earth. Spanning over 17.2 million square miles, 44.58 square kilometers, Asia comprises about 30% of Earth's total land area and 8.7% of Earth's total surface area. It also serves as home to more than 4.6 billion people as of June 2019. Marriage in Asia. Asians have traditionally regarded marriages as a bonding of families rather than individuals. People are not seen in the Christian view as individual children of God but rather as members of family. These ideas are at least partly rooted in ancestor worship and Confucianism. Costs of few Asian marriages and what can be done about it. According to The Economist, the flight from marriage in Asia is thus the result of the greater freedom that women enjoy these days, which is to be celebrated. But it is also creating social problems. Traditional Chinese marriages. In the late imperial era there were 4 kinds of marriages. 1. Major marriages between a young man and women, involving the payment of a bride price and a dowry paid by both the groom and bride's family. 2. Minor marriages, in which girls were betrothed at a young age and brought up as a daughter in her future husband's family. 3. Auxiliary marriage, in which a man was transferred to a young woman's household. And 4. Delayed transfer, in which a woman remained in her family after marriage until her first child was born. Hindu marriage. According to the Hindu scholar Dr. Krishna Nath Chatterjee, the purpose of the Hindu marriage is to have sexual relations, continuity of race, and discharging of religion and social duties. In terms of the Hindu stages of life, marriage is the key to the second stage, that of the householder. Choosing an arranged marriage partner in South Asia. Indians are very practical about marriage, and the union of bride and groom is often seen as a merger of business and family. Caste, income levels, education and astrology are all taken into consideration. Astrology is given a lot of weight. Indians believe mismatched stars can cause a lifetime of trouble. Muslim marriage. In the Muslim world, marriage is regarded as a religious duty and generally carried out in accordance with religious laws and customs rather than secular ones. Men have authority over women and are expected to be a provider and a protector of women. Muslim schools of law stress that equality of marriage, or that the bride and groom be of similar rank and position. In the Quran, Allah told men, "And of his signs is this, he created for you helpmates from yourselves that ye may find rest in them, and he ordained between you love and mercy." Muhammad went on to say, "Do not marry only for the sake of beauty, maybe the beauty becomes the cause of moral degradation. Do not marry even for the sake of wealth, maybe the wealth becomes the reason of insubordination. Marry on the grounds of religious devotion." Main regions. There are various approaches to the regional division of Asia. Islam. Islam, major world religion promulgated by the Prophet Muhammad in Arabia in the 7th century CE. The Arabic term Islam, literally surrender, illuminates the fundamental religious idea of Islam, that the believer, called a Muslim, from the active particle of Islam, accepts surrender to the will of Allah, in Arabic, Allah, God. Allah is viewed as the sole God, creator, sustainer, and restorer of the world. The will of Allah, to which human beings must submit, is made known through the sacred scriptures, the Quran, often spelled Quran in English, which Allah revealed to his messenger, Muhammad. In Islam, Muhammad is considered the last of a series of prophets, including Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Solomon, and Jesus, and his message simultaneously consummates and completes the revelations attributed to earlier prophets. Hinduism. Hinduism is the world's oldest religion, according to many scholars, with roots and customs dating back more than 4,000 years. Today, with about 900 million followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion behind Christianity and Islam. Roughly 95% of the world's Hindus live in India. Because the religion has no specific founder, it's difficult to trace its origins and history. Hinduism is unique in that it's not a single religion but a compilation of many traditions and philosophies. Judaism. Judaism is the world's oldest monotheistic religion, dating back nearly 4,000 years. Followers of Judaism believe in one God who revealed himself through ancient prophets. The history of Judaism is essential to understanding the Jewish faith, which has a rich heritage of law, culture and tradition. Jewish people believe there's only one God who has established a covenant, or special agreement, with them. Their God communicates to believers through prophets and rewards good deeds while also punishing evil. Christianity. Christianity is the most widely practiced religion in the world, with more than 2 billion followers. The Christian faith centers on beliefs regarding the birth, life, death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. While it started with a small group of adherents, many historians regard the spread and adoption of Christianity throughout the world as one of the most successful spiritual missions in human history. Buddhism. Buddhism is one of the world's largest religions and originated 2,500 years ago in India. Buddhists believe that the human life is one of suffering, and that meditation, spiritual and physical labor, and good behavior are the ways to achieve enlightenment, or nirvana. Sikhism. Sikhism, religion and philosophy founded in the Punjab region of the Indian subcontinent in the late 15th century. Its members are known as Sikhs. The Sikhs call their faith Gurmat, Punjabi, the way of the Guru. Festivals. Eid-ul-Adha or Festival of Sacrifice. This major Muslim festival marks the end of the pilgrimage, or Hajj, to Mecca, which Muslims are encouraged to make at least once in their lifetime. Muslims around the world share in the celebrations, the meat being distributed to the poor and shared with family and friends. Mawlid al-Nabi or birthday of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Mawlid al-Nabi marks the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, although some Muslims do not approve of this celebration and regard marking it as a religious innovation. Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn until sunset, every day of the month. This requires a total abstinence from food, drink, smoking and marital relations. Fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, but Ramadan is much greater than just fasting and abstinence. It is a time of increased worship and remembering Allah. The purpose of Ramadan is that Muslims will improve their lives and their demeanor and carry that improvement throughout the year. At the end of Ramadan, Muslims observe a holiday, called Eid-ul-Fitr. Christian festivals and holy days. Advent Sunday is the start of the Christian year and, in the Western churches, is 4 Sundays before Christmas. The Advent season continues until Christmas. All Saints' Day, 1 November. The early followers of Jesus were called saints or holy ones. Later in the 1st century, a saint, with a capital S, was a great man or woman of the past who was formally recognized by the Church as having lived a virtuous life of faith and who can be an inspiration to people today. Ascension Day. Ascension Day marked the belief that Christ ascended to heaven after he was resurrected on Easter Day. It is normally celebrated 40 days after Easter following the biblical accounts in the Gospel of Luke and in his Acts of the Apostles. Roman Catholics in England now celebrate it on the following Sunday. Christmas Day, 25 December, Western Christians. The 25th of December is the time when Western Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus, who Christians believe to be both the Messiah, or in Greek, the Christ, and Son of God, that is, divine. Eastern Orthodox Christians celebrate the birth on the 7th January. Hindu festivals. Diwali. The Festival of Lights, Diwali or Deepawali, is the most popular festival on the Indian subcontinent. The underlying essence of Diwali revolves around light superseding darkness, or the triumph of goodness over evil. Glimmering diyas, lamps, adorn every nook and cranny of every residence in the evening, and there are also fireworks and a delicious traditional banquet. Holi. Holi is a festival of color and a harbinger of spring in India. The onset of Holi is marked by the burning of an effigy of Holika, an evil entity from Hindu mythology, to signify the triumph of good over evil. The night of revelry around the bonfire goes on until the embers die. The following morning kicks off with people smearing colored powder on each other, more carousal and occasionally the consumption of bhang, an intoxicating edible cannabis preparation. Buddhist celebrations. Magha Puja Day and Sangha Day. This celebration usually occurs on the day of full moon in March. On this day, it is believed that the Buddha gave his disciples a message, called the Ovada Patimokkha, and amazing things happened. Buddhist New Year. For 3 days after the first full moon of April, Buddhists celebrate New Year's Day in certain countries. In other countries, the New Year is celebrated around the full moon in January. The time it is celebrated depends on the country and people. For example, people in Tibet celebrate at the full moon of February, while people in China, Vietnam and Korea celebrate at the end of January or the beginning of February. Dress. North India and Pakistan. In North India and Pakistan, stitched costumes similar to those of Central Asia are prevalent. Men and women wear a tunic called a kameez, together with salwar, loose pantaloons, narrow at the ankles and tied at the waist. The salwar is cut quite differently from the pajama. The versions of salwar kameez worn by men and women are similar but have a different cut and styling. The women's tunic has embroidery at the neck and is worn with a headscarf. Sri Lanka. The traditional dress of the Sinhalese women is the sarong worn with a stitched blouse and a scarf over the shoulder. In some cases the sarong has a frill at the top. Some wear a blouse with lace inserts at the waist and the sleeves, with a silver belt. Men wear a sarong and a kameez, tunic. Wearing the headscarf. Nepal. Newari women of the Central Valleys and the lower mountain ranges wear a pleated wraparound skirt held together by a heavy shawl at the waist, while the men wear a long shirt, nivasa, pleated up to the waist and reaching to the ankles, which is worn with a waistcloth. A jacket and a topi, conical cap, completes the outfit. Gurkha men wear ordinary trousers with a blouse reaching below the hips and fastened by a heavy cummerbund with a kukri traditional dagger stuck into it. Bhutan. Traditional dress is mandatory in Bhutan. Men wear Tibetan-style tunics, go, with a belt. The style is, however, quite distinct. It is raised and tied at the waist with the legs left bare for greater mobility. Rich woven patterns give the tunic a distinctive character. Ceremonial scarves are essential for all rituals and ceremonies, and the color denotes the status of the wearer. Even their raincoats woven out of yak wool and dyed with vegetable dyes, charcoal, are beautifully patterned. Bangladesh. The women of both West Bengal and Bangladesh wear cotton saris in the typical Bangla style of fold upon fold. Hindu women use the long end of the sari as a kind of veil by draping it over their head. Muslim women wear the sari at home in the same manner but cover it with a burqa outside the house. Muslim peasant men wear a colorful lungi, sarong, with short vest. Foods. Biryani, Iran, North India. Sushi, Japan. Kimchi, Korea. Satay, Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Ramen, Japan. Pho, Vietnam. Doner kebab and shawarma, Turkey and Middle East. Pad krapao, Thailand. Koesht e gorm sabzi, Iran. Tandoori chicken, India. The poorest countries in Asia. Afghanistan. This mountainous nation is burdened by ongoing armed conflict, government corruption, and prolific income inequality. After the United States and United Nations withdrew their troops in mid-2021, the Taliban retook control of Afghanistan's government. North Korea. Poverty in North Korea is attributed to poor governance by the totalitarian regime. The free market is nearly non-existent in North Korea. As of 2020, it is estimated that some 60% of North Korea's population lives below the poverty line. Nepal. Nepal's poverty is due to political instability and corruption, a lack of industry, and its dependence on agriculture. Despite being rich in natural resources, Nepal has not utilized and capitalized on its resources by exporting them to other countries. Tajikistan. By most any measure, Tajikistan consistently ranks as the second or third poorest country in Asia. A lack of infrastructure stagnates Tajikistan's economy. Many skilled people leave the country to search for better work opportunities, leaving Tajikistan with one of the world's largest remittance economies. Pakistan. Although Pakistan is very rich in natural resources, some 40% of its population lives in extreme poverty. Reasons for this dysfunction include governmental corruption and elitism, religious and secular conflict, and a lack of democratic ideals. The country also spends the largest part of its national expenditures on defense, spending only 2.6% of its total GDP on education. As a result, roughly half of Pakistan's people are uneducated. India. Despite having the fifth largest economy globally in terms of GDP, about 21% of India's population, 269 million people, lives below the poverty line. Causes for poverty in India include illiteracy, gender discrimination, unequal distribution of wealth, and the country's ever-increasing population. Climate of Asia. The southwestern region of the continent experiences low relief as a result of the subtropical high-pressure belt. They are hot in summer, warm to cool in winter, and may snow at higher altitudes. Siberia is one of the coldest places in the northern hemisphere, and can act as a source of Arctic air mass for North America. The most active place on Earth for tropical cyclone activity lies northeast of the Philippines and south of Japan, and the phase of the El Niño Southern Oscillation modulates where in Asia landfall is more likely to occur. The southwestern region of the continent experiences low relief as a result of the subtropical high-pressure belt. They are hot in summer, warm to cool in winter, and may snow at higher altitudes. Siberia is one of the coldest places in the northern hemisphere, and can act as a source of Arctic air mass for North America. The most active place on Earth for tropical cyclone activity lies northeast of the Philippines and south of Japan, and the phase of the El Niño Southern Oscillation modulates where in Asia landfall is more likely to occur. Lifestyle in Africa, coming soon. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and remember to click on the notification bell so you get notified when we post a new video. Thanks for watching.